It's barely been a few weeks since he held on to that catch in that final to win India the World Cup. Now he has an even bigger responsibility to hold on to. Suryakumar Yadav will be India's next men's T20I captain and not Hardik Pandya. It will be Suryakumar Yadav who will take over the reins with Rohit Sharma having retired. A big statement coming in from the management, which is also the first decision since Gautam Gambhir was appointed coach of the Indian men's team. It's a big enough story for us to call the biggest boss over on ESPN Cricinfo newsroom. So, Sambit Bal, glad to have your company to look at this story. How much of a surprise is this that Suryakumar Yadav and not Hardik Pandya will be India's next T20I captain?
I mean, on the face of it, it's a big surprise, but in our job, we get to feel the vibrations and the undercurrents around. So I wouldn't call it a big surprise for people who were slightly in the know. And you have to remember that the appointment that was made for the T20 World Cup was perhaps made for that World Cup in mind. So that cycle is now over, and the selectors and the team management are looking ahead, and they're looking at a 2 year horizon. And in that scheme of things, these things were already in motion. From what I have known, what I have learned, that these things were. This is not a decision that was made overnight or on a whim. This was something that was being discussed and almost decided before the World Cup was over. So it's not a surprise to me that this has come about because the selectors are taking a long term view and they want to see who can be on the field more or more regularly. And sort of there is no certainty of Hardik's, given his injury, and it's no blame attached to him on that. So he's not been fit. Also, there are other things like who has the dressing room, who, these are things that you and me don't see. These are things that are people who spend time around the team know. And in what's the team dynamics, who is more suited to carry the bunch of players who are going to be part of this team. Those are the considerations that people who have taken the decisions, and that these decisions are taken in good faith. The decisions are taken with the sort of right intention in mind. Sometimes they can be wrong, sometimes they can be, you sometimes they might have to change it. But I know that these are the considerations that went into sort of choosing the new captain.
So, if we examine all those possible factors, you'd say the continuity is perhaps one of the biggest factors that would have worked in Suryakumar Yadav's favor, given that he's not really involved in the other two formats. So, this is a player you can
Yeah,
mark down
yeah,
for every single
yeah,
T20I
yeah,
assignment.
yeah, yeah. So the workload management doesn't sort of matter for him. If there was, you could even talk about Bumrah as a captain. The reason that you can't even consider Bumrah as a captain because you will always have to manage his workload. And Hardik has been on and off. He is, I think on our site itself there was in that report that he has missed about 40-45% of India's T20s since 2022, and he's an injury prone person, and you have to manage him as a player more, because his value to the team, because he plays a fairly critical role in the team. So you want him on the park as much as the player. So you perhaps don't want to take that risk.
Yeah, just to back that up for you, Hardik Pandya has played 46 out of 79 T20Is for India since the start of 2022. The number he's missed in ODIs is even bigger, so that points to the problem we're looking at. What would this mean to Hardik Pandya if we look at the individual, Sambit? Because here's someone we know has had the ambitions to be India captain for a while. You thought he might be the one who will lead India into the 2024 T20 World Cup. That didn't happen. Now, when he might have thought, okay, now is my time to take over, again, it doesn't happen. That could shake
I
anyone's
mean,
confidence.
it would be massively disappointing for him. There's no doubt about that because there was every indication. I'm sure I don't know whether he had read the signals or he knew anything, but it would be massively disappointing. Obviously for a player of his ambition also. We know that he is ambitious, that he wanted the Mumbai Indians captaincy, and he would have assumed that he will be India's captain. But as an international player, as an India player, there are massive highs to be had just being a big performer. And he would have experienced that high in this T20 World Cup, where He contributed to India's win in the final, and he would know what a big high it is. And once you get past the disappointment, there is a massive career in terms of in T20 ahead of him. He can play a fairly central role, and you know that if you perform, you are a hero for India. And captaincy is not a bed of roses anyway. It sort of it comes with him, and he would have known that from his just previous experience with Mumbai Indians. So it might even free him up to be the best player that he can be.
Which then takes me to the next point, that that experience of dealing with that role. Hardik has had 3 full seasons as an IPL captain, 2 with Gujarat, 1 with Mumbai. Suryakumar Yadav has led MI a few times when Rohit Sharma was absent in the last few seasons, and he's led India in a couple of series late last year. So we haven't seen much of Suryakumar Yadav, the captain. What do you reckon we can expect?
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't sort of, we have the sample size is really low. But obviously, the selectors, the team management, the new coach would have been involved. The old coaches' feedback would have been taken. Uh, they know and they have seen something because these are dynamics within a dressing room that we don't see. We don't see which role, who plays what role in the team, and what sort of how somebody's around other players. And so, there are people who are givers and natural leaders. We don't really know how Surya will do. There are two things we know: that he will uh, more likely to be around T20 cricket internationally for India, certainly, and we know that he will play in that template that India T20 team has set for itself, because he is in a way he was ahead of his time. He's always played like that. We have seen Rohit Sharma captaining in a way, leading from the front, batting in a way that he wanted the team to bat, and Surya will bat that way, irrespective of success or failure. And rest we will know in about maybe in 6 months' time.
All right, let's see how they go then. Sambit Bal, thank you so much for breaking down that big news story for us. There's a lot more to take away from those squad announcements for India's white ball tour of Sri Lanka. You'll find all of that on the ESPN Cricinfo mobile app. Be sure to download it.